My name's Thando Zulu. I studied the MA in Music Business at Tileyard Education. I now run my own management company called Zulu Music. At the time of applying, I had been a youth worker for 6 years, and as part of doing that, we set up a studio in the church basement, and we started releasing music. I was also helping with something called Sofa Sounds in Nottingham, which was like gigs in people's living rooms or interesting workspaces, and really enjoyed the people I was meeting in the industry, some of the successes that we were having through the music we were releasing at the youth club, and started having friends come to me who wanted to be artists, and the helping somewhat turned into management. And I realized I probably needed a bit more education on contracting, how do you make money in music, build a bit of a network in terms of the people that I needed to collaborate with. And I looked at the course at Tileyard and it felt like a perfect fit. So I applied in the April of 2020 and started my course in the September. Yeah, for me, I made loads of connections whilst I was studying. As mentioned, I was managing when I was studying, so it was really helpful for me from a networking perspective. And yeah, still speak to a lot of my course mates. One of them now works at TuneCore, which is like a DIY distribution company. We still get along. Also still speak to one of my course mates who's an artist. He now lives in Canada, but we keep in touch, which is really cool. And then also just the industry professionals that I met. I ended up working at Tileyard Music for a bit, and the way that that job came along was during the course, there was an opportunity for mentorship, and my mentor was Charlie Arm, and he runs Tileyard Music, one of the co-founders, and me and Charlie still get along to this date. We were messaging this week. So yeah, the relationships I've made have been fantastic. You are studying, maybe you're doing your masters now, or you're considering taking that next step in education to get into music. I would encourage you to make the most of the lecturers and the network provided, because we're in an industry that really, relationship is such a big part of it. Maybe every industry is like that, but I think often lecturers are open to you asking questions and following up on email, sending things over to be looked over in terms of like first drafts. Use those opportunities, and one thing that I found really helpful when I was at Tileyard was the specific outside of the education syllabus events that were happening, whether that was gigs that were happening on campus, talks, Zoom calls with different industry professionals. When I was doing my masters, I was also managing my first artist I ever managed, still working with him now, an artist called Jereb. And I found it really helpful that the theoretical things that I was learning in the lectures and the essays, I was able to put in practice almost straight away. And one of the things that helped was my final project was to do a business plan. And I did the business plan on the business that I am now running called Zulu Music. And I found that just one of the most helpful things to really think through, get feedback for something that's actually really live for me. And my mentor that I met through doing the master's course, they helped me to set up the business on like the first like DIY companies formation thing that I signed up for, because I was about to sign a management contract, and good practice is to have that done through a company rather than yourself, which are things that I learned on the course, whether in lectures or from the mentors that were provided. So the like incorporation of my company is like very much tied in with the time that I spent at Tileyard. I believe my company was incorporated March 2021, and I did the course starting in September, October 2020, and like just before I had graduated. Kind of was like a parting gift, I guess, to myself, which is quite nice because like that final project was alongside like an actual company that I started whilst I was doing the masters, which feels pretty cool. Thank you Tileyard Education. And since then, like the roster's grown, and it's grown from just managing artists. So I manage 5 artists currently, and I also manage a venue called Hackney Church in East London, and that runs through my business as well. So the business is like sustainable, which I think firstly for me feels like a huge win, that I'm able to be in music full time. And that wasn't the case before moving to London and doing the master's course. Artist Jared that I manage, his first ever TV performance was opening the King's Coronation with Pete Tong, which felt like an amazing, like wild experience. It was incredible being around incredible artists backstage, whether like Katy Perry, Lionel Richie. Yeah, it felt surreal. The after party was in Windsor Castle. Like how does that happen? In the venue as well, we've had artists that I would have dreamed to go and see performing at the venue that I get to manage, whether that is most recently Spotify and Acne Studios did an event with Willow. We had Chris Martin do a Christmas fundraiser at the end of 2024, December, which was again an amazing thing to be able to be a part of. And all these things for me, I track back to taking that leap, moving to London, getting the education required, building the network. I still go to Tileyard, the like physical like Tileyard studios and hub for meetings all the time. There's various businesses and people that I interact with that are based there. And it kind of made somewhere that felt so distant feel really homey. When I go to Tileyard now, it kind of feels like I'm going back to camp.